Bible says give, but it doesn't say lend. At least not the way we're familiar with. Listen to this. Luke 6:30. Give to anyone who asks. And if anyone wants to take what belongs to you, don't demand it back. And then a few verses later. And if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? That's no good if you lend to somebody to get the money back. That's not a spiritual blessing. Even sinners lend to sinners expecting to be repaid in full. So the biblical thing is, if you don't have the money, tell your friend, I love you, I'm sorry, I don't have the money. If you get kicked out, you can stay with us. But I don't have the money. Don't take from your nest egg. Don't take from your college fund. If you don't have it, tell them, I don't have it. I can give you 150. Don't lend. Don't borrow. Don't lend. If you want to be smart with your money, you'll store some up for those rainy days. If you want to be smart with your money, you'll make wise choices. You'll make wise choices concerning debt. You won't get into it, and you won't help others get into it. The A in smart is avoid greed. This is what Jesus said, Luke 12:15. Be careful to guard yourselves against every kind of greed. Be careful. When the Son of God says, be careful, it should have like flashing red lights and neon sign, like a no entry on the freeway thing. You better not get on this on-ramp, buddy. Be careful. So Jesus is saying, bing, 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 be careful. Guard yourself against every kind of greed. Apparently, there's more than one kind. For a person's life does not consist of the amount of possessions he has. That's not what we learn watching TV. I got to buy the latest and the greatest of everything. That's what we learn on TV, isn't it? Our economy is based on consuming. The more we buy, the better we do. But that's not biblical. We're not supposed to get, pile up stuff that moths and rust can destroy. I'm not saying don't have a car. I'm not saying don't have a nice TV. I'm not saying don't have a nice house. I'm just saying what Jesus said. Be careful that greed doesn't consume you. Apparently, Jesus recognizes that it's a problem that we humans have, and he's telling us if we want to make wise choices, we will be cautious in the area of greed. Tolstoy, famous Russian author, told this story. He said there was this guy who was willing to sell to a man as much property as he could walk from sunup to sundown for only 10,000 rubles. So in today's language, let's say it like this. I take you out to a ranch in Texas or Arizona or California, start you at the beach, and say, as far as you can see, you can walk as far as you want. You got to be back here by the time you're done. And everywhere you walked, it's yours for $10,000. Dang, I could put in 20 miles. So you start huffing. You start dreaming. 20, if I get back by sundown, I can have it all. I can have it all. I can have it all. The guy tried so hard, he dropped dead of a heart attack. And he got 6 feet by 6 feet. Avoid greed. That's sure what Leo Tolstoy was trying to get at. To be smart with our finances, we should make wise choices. We should store some up. We should avoid greed. And the R in smart is remember what's important. True story, last year's newspaper, I got this off of the internet, off of Reuters. You can look it up if you want. Steve Smith said that Steve Smith was a porter in a hospital in London. I don't know what a porter in a hospital does, but I'm thinking he wasn't a brain surgeon. All right? Steve Smith won the lottery. Good for him. When people who have lowly jobs win the lottery, I feel great for them. I feel good. I'm glad they won it. But unfortunately, Steve Smith also has this rare congestive problem. He's got a 1 in 10 chance of living. So on the one hand, he wins this $38 million. On the other hand, he thinks, I might die any day now. How important do you think that lottery is to him right now? And listen to what he said. He talks about his wife in the newspaper article. He says, it's Ida I worry for. It's leaving her behind. I'd give all that back if I'm just allowed a few more years with her. And then he goes on, he ends it like this. He says, besides, there's no shops in the cemetery, are there? Wow. You just got to be facing death to understand what's real and what's important and what's not. There are no shops in the cemetery. We all know this, right? How many of you know you can't take it with you, right? Let me see your hands. Let's play. All right. Then why do we work so hard to get so much if we know we're going to leave it behind? Isn't that silly? And that's what we do. We're crazy. I don't know. There's something wrong with us. To be smart with our money, we should remember what's important. So there's this big charity in this small town. And every year they collect as much money as they can to bless the orphans and so on and so forth. Well, they're looking over their records one day, and they realize they need a lot more. And then one of them says, hey, what about what's his name up in the hill, the richest guy in the county? He's never contributed once to our charity. I'll go ask. I'm not ashamed. I'll go knock on the guy's door. So he goes and he knocks on his door. And he says, Mr. So-and-so, we're looking over our records, and we recognize you've never contributed to our charity. You know, we help the orphans, and we help this, and we help that. And it's no secret you're the wealthiest man in the county. Would you consider making a substantial donation to this wonderful charity? He says, your records indicate I've never given, huh? Yes, sir. Do your records indicate that I'm taking care of my widowed mother in a rest home who's ill? No, sir, the records don't indicate that. And do your records indicate that my sister's husband also died and she's got 3 children who are sickly and I'm taking care of them? No, sir, the records don't indicate that either. Now the guy's starting to get embarrassed. And he says, and do your records indicate that I got a full ride scholarship at my university and they're threatening to close their doors because they can't afford to pay the bills anymore? No, sir, our records don't indicate that anywhere. I'm very sorry. Well, if I'm not giving them any money, I'm not going to give you any either. Yeah, isn't that nasty? Aw, Steve, you made it up so big. Be smart with your money. Remember what's important. That's what the R stands for. S, store some up. M, make wise choices. A, avoid greed. R, remember what's important. The T in smart is tithe. And there's 5 reasons I'm going to share with you this morning on why I think tithing is important. Number 1, I'm going to read you all 4. I'll save 5 till the end. And then I'll go through them one at a time. Because I know some of you try to take notes and I'm going to read it through fast and you're going to get frustrated. So don't worry, I'm going to go through them fast, then I'll get back to them one at a time. Reason number 1, when we tithe, we remember from whom our blessings come. Number 2, when we tithe, we demonstrate that we trust God, even concerning our money. Number 3, when we tithe, we honor God with that which we value the most. And number 4, when we tithe, we let go of this world and cling to the next. Number 5, I'm going to save to the end because it's my favorite and I don't want to spill the beans. Number 1, when we tithe, we remember from whom our blessings come. James 1:17, every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father. Every good thing given is from above. I went and bought a new pair of shoes a couple weeks ago because my feet were too cold. Had the money to do it. There was a store in town. I did it. That's a gift from God. Hungry? Stopped in at In-N-Out Burger yesterday. Had a couple bucks in my pocket. I could do it. I did it. That was a gift from God. When I go home to a warm house on a cold winter's day. It's a gift from God. I've got friends in the hospital, but I'm not. My kids aren't, my wife's not. It's a gift from God. You see, everything in your life that you consider good, the peace that we experience, you know, Israel's at war again. We're not. It's a gift from God. When we take a little bit of our money, give it back, it helps us to remember where our blessings truly come from. Because tithing it's a real, tangible way of doing something. It's a physical way of showing our respect for God. Number 2, when we tithe, we demonstrate that we trust God, even concerning our money. You see, if you're like me, you probably think oftentimes, I don't have an extra 10% to give. I can't tithe. It's hard to give that money, and we do it right off the bat. We don't wait till all the bills are paid. We give him the first fruits. We give him the money before we pay the bills, anticipating there will be enough because we're making wise choices, and God said he'd take care of us. So I trust that he will, and I tithe.